We are. It's happening now. Woohoo! So, hold on to your hats. Stop your grinning and drop your linen because it's happening now. It is live. Let me just pull this up. Okay, this is weird. It's hard to pull it up. Okay, so here we go. Pulling it up on the phone so I can manage everything. Okay, what is going on here, guys? We're having some. There it is. There it is. Okay. If you are here, say hi. Send a little heart emoji up. Give me some love, people. Give me some love. I am a love sponge, and you guys are water. I don't even know what that means. So let me know you're here, though, okay? Chime in. Say hi. Drop an emoji. Do something. Seriously, don't just sit there. I see the little arrow or the little indicator that says you guys are here. So make some noise. Show me what's up. All right. Today, the stories you tell are the stories that shape you are the stories you need to tell. Robert Abbey, Rachel Brody, woo woo. What does that mean? What does that mean? The stories that shape you are the stories you need to tell. Well, so there's two levels at least to storytelling and why and how it's so important. And we're going to go into those today so that you understand a little bit more the sort of the subterranean influences, I guess, on how you show up. Would you agree that you are here on social media, here in this group, in order to grow your business, right? To get more clients? Can we drop the virtue signaling facade and just admit that we want more clients? Is that okay? Can we do that? You guys all right with that? Because let me tell you, whatever your stated big, ambitious, visionary goal is, it will not happen without revenue coming through the door. Does that make sense? It does not, will not, it cannot, will not in a train, it cannot, will not on a plane. You've got to have revenue coming in the door to ever hope that you're going to achieve these meaningful things that you wish to achieve. So we've got Rachel, Robert, Allison all chimed in. Thank you, guys. Now, I know that all of you have, you have altruistic goals. And so does everybody else in this group. Well, for the most part. You've got altruistic goals. You want to serve people. Rachel wants people to have better, healthy skin. Allison wants people to better manage and understand their money and experience freedom through that. And Robert runs mastermind groups meant to help you with what? Business. You got to have income coming in. You have to, right? So that is the thing that facilitates the expression of the big dream, right? And one of the things I've really been focused on and paying attention to and as always, fascinated by in this last month is the way that our minds get in the way of our progress. And I think that many of us have simple, limited, and incomplete notions about how mindset slows us down. Now, I'm seeing some more people have joined in, but I don't know who you are because you have not yet said hi or sent an emoji to me. So all you new folks, don't be stingy with those thumbs ups, the hearts, the smiley faces. Honestly, I don't even care if you do like some funky random emoji. I don't even care if you do the little poop emoji. I think as emojis go, he's pretty funny. So, but do something, participate, show up. In fact, let me put it this way. If you can't even participate to the extent of saying hi in a training that is meant to help you make more money, it's very likely that you're not going to be the kind of person that's successful. I mean, think about that. Hey, Shannon, if you can't even, hey, Mark, if you can't even make some noise for the guy who's taking an hour out of his day to give you free, actionable value, you ain't the kind of person who's going to make money. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Barry Evans, welcome aboard. So that apparently that made sense. That struck a chord in you guys, because now everybody's chiming in. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. Does that make sense, though? I mean, really, like, and so today's training is about stories. And here's the funny thing. Hey, Mary, there's a story in your head that was stopping you from the simple act of saying hi or touching the emoji button, right? This is the thing that is just kills me, that just blows my mind. It happens because of a story you're telling yourself. Now, I don't know what that story is, but it's something like, oh, other people will do it, I don't need to, right? I'm just going to hang back and be anonymous. It won't really matter whether I pitch in or not. You know what I mean? And so think about that for a second. Sit in that for a second and realize that in the case of some of you guys, you are still reluctant to do something as simple as show appreciation to the person who is here to give you valuable training. This is not a judgment. This is meant so that you can have a new awareness. What I would like for you guys by the end of this hour is a new awareness. And also, I'm going to give you some actionable training on stories. But a new awareness, right? You got to go out there and get it. You have to be prepared to go out there and get it, especially when we're talking clients and especially when we're talking on social media. You've got to be ready, willing, and able. Fuck ready, willing, and able. You've got to take action and go out there and get it. It's that simple. I was thinking of an analogy for this thing about taking action. And it's funny because, like, I myself am currently learning about cryptocurrency. And this is not a pitch for cryptocurrency. I will say that in 5 days, $2,500 invested has turned into $4,000 for me. But check this out. I resisted cryptocurrency even after seeing many of my colleagues and friends make absurd sums of money with it. Real money, by the way, guys, just in case you don't know. I have currently 2 little cryptocurrency accounts. Last month, what I guess would be my primary account, I withdrew $4,300 in cash from that account without the balance diminishing. So, I mean, what could be more immediate and real than money in the bank? You know what I mean? And yet, here's the thing. I resisted learning about it. Do you see what I'm saying? I resisted learning about it. Congratulations, Brendan. Good for you, man. I'm not going to be evangelistic about it. I'm just going to learn and I'm going to make money with it, right? But here's the thing that we can apply to all of us, right? Thank you, Allison. I resisted. I never really questioned what are the stories I'm telling myself about why I'm not looking at this thing. The evidence was overwhelming that there was something there worth looking at. And here's my setup. There are people in my world, in fact, ex-mentors who I trust, who I have trust for, right? And they're investing in crypto, different cryptos. Barry, good for you. Yeah, you were resisting, but now you're learning. I love it, man. So people I trusted, right? Who I had previously, one guy who I had previously paid an exorbitant sum of money to be in his mastermind for a year, $30,000 to be in his mastermind. And he's talking about how we should learn this stuff. And I'm resisting. See, that right there, not the crypto specifically, not the mentor specifically, but the mechanism of how we talk ourselves out of doing things is what I want you guys to understand about this. And guess what? The way that we talk ourselves out of doing things is through the stories we tell ourselves. You see how I tied that all back in? Do you see the power of stories? So, you right now, you have stories limiting you right this minute. I do too, by the way. I'm hopefully just a little better at rooting them out and taking action in spite of them than you are. But you've got stories limiting you right now. And I'll give you an example, right? Some of the stuff that I teach, and by the way, if you're not in the Wolfpack membership program, marketing membership, good Lord, what are you waiting for? It is the best value and education on how to get more clients you'll ever find. But I digress. Some of the people that join, and prior to having it as a membership, I taught it as a program. What I mean by that is this is a membership. You get to pay a small amount each month for access. Before, it was a large lump sum you had to pay to get the information. And people would pay this large lump sum, $5,000. Then they'd get in. And when they got in, I'd say to them, so what's your mission? What are you here for? Like, why do you want, basically, why are you willing to invest $5,000 to get better at getting clients? You must have something driving you. And they would say, well, you know, I've been through these rough experiences and I learned these powerful lessons, and I really want to share what I've learned with the world. And I want to make a good living doing it. And I'm like, that's my kind of person right there. And then I would tell them, okay, well, so one of the first things you have to do is, like in a lot of cases, you're going to have to start making better content and more of it. Immediately I hear this resistance. Right? Immediately I get this resistance. Why the resistance? Oh, well, I don't like the way I look on camera. And this is a real story someone told me. It was an older lady who, we're all either older or getting older, right? She used to be the prom queen and she used to be the town beauty. And so she has some vanity. And as she's moving into her 60s, she's losing her looks. Or at least that, you know, that's her belief. That's her story, right? And she did one live stream one time, and somebody made a rude comment about her appearance, and that was it. Shut it down, game over. I want you to think about that. She has this powerful thing she wants to help people by using, this powerful skill set. She wrote a book. She's got a mission. She wants to impact the world. That is as big a mission and vision and aspiration as I can think about, right? And she let the tiniest thing stop her. Gang, that's what the internal stories do. I told you about the crypto. All told, with my modest, it is a modest investment in cryptocurrency, I have profited about $10,000 on about an $11,000 investment. So I've almost doubled my money. But you just wouldn't believe the stories I originally had in my head stopping me from even learning about it. In spite of evidence that it was worthwhile to do, I'm going to ask you, what is in your life right now that you have some kind of, that you are not doing that you know you should be doing, in spite of all the evidence that suggests you should be doing it? What is it? Anybody bold enough to actually say something on the comments? Anybody audacious enough to tell us publicly? What's something that you know, if you would just get over yourself, it would benefit you tremendously? Yeah. And do you know why we don't do that stuff? Do you know what stops us from doing that stuff? The stories we tell ourselves, guys. Literally, the mechanism that keeps you in place and not moving forward is a story. And even if it was the most true thing in your life in the past, it does not mean that it's still true today or will be true tomorrow. So we've got some good ones here. Getting better at making an offer, trusting others, doing more lives and asking for the sale. Yeah, and these things are hard. You guys, that's courageous. Shannon, Brendan, and Rachel. Those things are hard. There are so many stories around selling and owning our worth and being willing to put ourselves out there, right? And face the potential judgment of others who, by the way, don't have the first right in the world to be judging you. They just don't have anyone who does judge you, like just off of your attempts to like grow is automatically disqualified from having the right to judge you. So I hope this is making sense to you. We have to capture those stories, and we have to challenge those stories. We have to capture them and challenge them. I mean, it's literally, that's what you do. You go, wait a minute, hold on, brain. Hold on, brain. Let's see if we really believe this is true or not. In my case, cryptocurrency is just a big scam, and it's just it's fake. What the fuck does that mean? It's fake, right? But that's what my mind told me. So I have to bring the story into the light, and I have to really examine it. And Shannon, good for you. and the story was, it was fake. But I had made a commitment to myself. I'm committed to using investing and becoming an educated investor and using investing to grow my worth, my value, my money value, right? And so since I made that commitment, now getting around my resistance fit in with a commitment I made to myself, right? Yeah, Brendan, right. U.S. currency is fake also, man. That's right. The economy is fake, depending on who you ask, but that's neither here nor there. You guys all, to a man and to a woman, have a worthwhile mission, especially those of you participating, because I know all of you. You have a worthwhile mission. But what you may not know what you may not know is that the version of you right now, today, here, watching this, experiencing the words I'm saying and letting them sort of percolate and like pop little reality bubbles in your head, this version of you, drum roll please, will not achieve success, not the success you want. It won't. But, and this is the funny part, and this is the laughy part, kids, the version of you that you are right now today, the one experiencing what I'm saying and having this energetic interaction with me, is the only thing that can build the version of you that can achieve what you want. And how do we do that? Anybody got a guess? Send some emojis across the screen if you've got a guess at how this version of us can build subsequently better versions that can achieve the goals that this version has. I'm seeing some emojis. I'm liking it. Let me say that again. The version of you that is right now, right here today, sitting or standing on your phone or laptop or desktop, whatever it is, in your living room or your office or your car, this version of you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, or it would have already. But this version of you is the only thing on the planet that can build the version of you that can achieve those things. Think of Ultron from the Avengers movies, right? He kept building better and better versions of himself, right? That's a metaphor, kids. That's a metaphor. and a good one at that. So Shannon says, my office has a poster I made that says, don't believe everything you think. Everything you want in life is outside your comfort zone. You only conquer your fears by taking action. That's right. Very, very good. So here's the answer. This version of you builds the next iteration of you through the stories you tell yourself. I know, it's crazy, but it's true. You build the next version of yourself by becoming aware of the stories you have, changing the ones that don't serve you, and inserting new ones in their place, and then acting on those new stories. Yeah, Brendan, I love it, man. By having nearly daily contact with Manny and the Wolfpack, it has helped you take more action. That's what I'm talking about. So, how do we then supercharge the client attraction side, the external side? How do we take all this work that I'm telling you to go do, right? How do we sort of like use it to its best advantage? How do we leverage it the most? Well, it's pretty simple. If you're in the Wolfpack, you know about my content creation strategies. You know about what I call the content creation engine, which is our little grid. And you know about the 4 quadrants, right? Vision, process, story, and proof. Whatever. Okay. Vision, process, story, and proof. Vision, process, story, and proof. Well, the story part is the part, as you know, those of you in the Wolfpack, you know that the story part is the part that separates us from the crowd in the mind of our prospects. Yeah. Who do we got here? Hey, Diana. So the story part is the part that lends the legitimacy and the emotional content to the vision, proof, and process. Now, some of you guys will not know what I'm talking about. That's because shame on you, you're not in the Wolfpack yet. You should join. I mean, let me digress for a minute. It's $67 a month to get high-level marketing training. What more should I really have to say? You don't have to spend $5,000 for a program that may or may not work for you. You can try $67 a month for a month at a time. And should you want to leave at any time, we will cheerfully refund your misery at the door. But in the meantime, there are 4 quadrants to your content. Your content is the only thing you have to get clients with. By the way, it's the only thing you do, whether it's ads, which are content, or just organic content, which is non-paid content. You've only got one way, and that's through content. And the problem with most people's content is it's unfocused, it's not engaging, it's not dynamic, and it doesn't position them. Yours, especially those of you in the Wolfpack, isn't going to have any of those problems. But we're talking about the stories now. And we've gone pretty good into the internal story stuff, haven't we? We've sort of culminated the whole early part of this broadcast by saying you today, the today version of you, is not capable of achieving your goals, but it is capable of building the subsequently improved versions of you that can reach your goals. And the way that we do that is through the stories we tell ourselves and through the actions that those stories lead to, because you are just the sum of your actions today, just as I am. And you're going to be the sum of your actions tomorrow. And you're going to be the sum of your actions the next day, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. You're always the sum of your actions, right? And so how do we influence our actions? Through the stories we tell ourselves. So now let's talk about how you can 2x this changing of the stories idea. Start sharing the old stories and the new stories in your content. Start sharing about the stuff that you believe that you know doesn't serve you, and start sharing about what you're putting in place of that does serve you. See, this allows people to go on the journey with you. Now, I realize this is getting it's getting pretty deep, But, you know, that's that tough luck. From the perspective of someone who is potentially a client, right? A prospect, the perspective of a prospect, that's a mouthful. Here's what we respond to. If I'm your potential prospect, if I'm someone who's a good fit at some point for your service, here's what we respond to. We respond intellectually to vision, which is your vision of what's possible for us through your help. Well written, well articulated, well presented in video. We respond to the process. What is your process? How do you help me get there? And we respond to proof. But without story, all of our responses are intellectual. And intellectual agreement is weak. Here's what's strong: emotional connection. Shannon says, if you're not comfortable with some serious self-reflection, you're probably in the wrong place. Yeah, that's true. I know you signed up for marketing and you're getting like personal improvement and growth stuff, but it makes you better at client attraction. The more we can shed the skins and show up clearly and focused as our real self, the more people respond to us. It's really that simple. So, knowing that vision, proof, and process are all intellectual. That's where we connect with those things intellectually, right? And there are many people out there who are wanting your dollars, who are sharing vision, proof, and process. When you start to share stories, something powerful happens. You begin to shift in our minds from another person who's a service provider to someone whose journey we are going along on. This is an incredibly appealing sensation for people. Some of you, well, let's see, Diana Brand has been with me off and on for a long, long time. Let's see if anybody else who I can see on here has. Mark Gablowski, you've been with me for a long, long time. And lots of good engagement today, by the way, guys. So those two would be good examples of people who have seen my journey, right? I've taken them with me on my journey. In fact, I've trained both of them in my storytelling methodology on various levels and at various depths. But there's a connection there, and it's emotional, right? Does that make sense? So yeah, Diana says it was fall 2018. That's a long time. When you share the stories, you allow us to feel like we're walking beside you. Is that a good way to put it? Let me see with emojis if that's a good way to put it. Does that make sense to you guys? When you share with us your stories, like sort of and the down and dirty too, not all shiny victory stuff. Does that, it allows us to feel like we're walking alongside you on a journey. Does that make sense? Is that a good way to put it? Don't be stingy. Like if you relate to that, I want to see a lot of thumbs ups and happy faces and whatever. Really don't hold back if that makes sense. It looks like that makes sense. So what you guys can't see is I'm looking at the phone here and I see all the reactions on the phone. And so it looks like that makes sense. Okay, that's good. We've got an analogy. Hi, Jan. I didn't see you. We've got an analogy that works, right? That's the power of the stories. So stories resonate with people if they connect with it and say to themselves, that's me. That's right. That's right. I'm waiting here. Barry said that. Barry, you're right. Barry, you might want to consider joining the Wolfpack, my friend. It's pretty much no risk. You gamble 1 month of $67 to see if you like it, but you should consider joining. Let's recap because this has been deep. So first we talked about the internal stories. And I gave you guys examples of how the first people on the live stream were reluctant to even say anything, right? Like you wouldn't even drop comments or emojis. And I pointed out to you how there's a story that's making you feel like you're not going to do that. And I think I made a pretty good example of how if you're not willing to even show support to the guy who is here to legitimately give you high value, actionable training, then you're probably not going to find success, right? Thank you, Jan. And then we talked a little bit more about how the mechanism that either holds us in place or propels us forwards is the stories we tell ourselves. So I want to restate that in a different way. And after I restate it in this different way, I want you guys to respond if you like it, if it makes sense to you. Here's what stories really are, the stories we tell ourselves. They become the boundaries, sort of the outer edges of our personal reality. Our reality, what we think is real, is literally defined by the stories we tell ourselves. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that hit? Does that resonate? And if it does, lots and lots of emojis. And think about this. An atheist and a devout Catholic see reality in two very different ways, don't they? And yet they both go through the world and they function and everything, but they would never be able to meet halfway. Why? Because their stories, which define their realities for them, the boundaries of their reality, are so different. How about a Black Lives Matter person and a white supremacist? It's kind of an antagonistic thing to say, or a charged thing to say, right? But think about it. It's just stories. It's just stories. But what we don't tend to understand, so Jan said they can become our prisons. They do become our prisons until we take charge of them and decide to make them something else. They're absolutely our prisons in the sense that they define the walls of what's possible for us. If that hits you guys, then let's see some reaction, some emojis, because it's pretty important to understand this. So I'm waiting for the emojis. Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, Shannon, yes, I agree with you. Anyone whose stories make other people less than, to me, is wrong. That's my story. My story is that we may be different, but I'm not better than you, and you're sure as hell not better than me. Good. So I get it. You guys are liking this. Okay, good. So that's the power of our stories, right? That's the power of our stories. They literally define our reality for us. So what if your story was, I love organic content-based marketing. I do it well, but what's more important is I'm always getting better. What if that was your story? What if that was a verbal expression of what you felt in your heart? Do you think that might change how many clients you got? And I keep coming back to how many clients you get, because let's think about this. The life you envision living, the life of a successful coach who has a meaningful practice, and all the happiness you feel and aspire to, and the success, all comes from the clients, doesn't it? Every dollar that you will ever earn is currently in someone else's pockets. And your job is to figure out how to get them to give it to you, right? And when you get enough of that and you feel the lack of need, and you start to realize that you have the financial means to express your creativity and yourself in ways that fill your soul, you've made it. And it's all going to start with these different stories. So it's powerful shit, you guys. Okay, good. So how then do we leverage this powerful shift we've had today in our perspective about stories and how they fit into our realities in order to make ourselves more successful? Which, by the way, if you remember, was the point of changing these stories in the first place, right? You see what I've done there? So the point of changing these stories in the first place is to become more successful. But you can actually use the stories you're changing to facilitate that success. It's not just an abstraction like law of attraction or something where you go, oh, I changed my stories and then somehow money just comes to me. No, you're putting your journey out there and sharing it with people openly. and earning their trust and attracting them to your honesty and your sincerity. And as a result, you start to separate yourself from the other people who are in your industry who are missing this story piece. When they miss the story piece, remember, you guys in the Wolfpack have heard me say this 100 times, you compete on price and features. You don't want to compete on price and features. You want to compete based on just the power of who you are, right? Who you clearly, loudly show up as. Is that making sense? Are we tracking that? If we are tracking that, let me see some emojis. Are we not tracking that? Or is there just a little delay and I'm waiting for the emojis? There, okay, there we go. There's some. All right, very good. Let me see if I can sum that up, because I recognize this is still a sophisticated idea. Sophisticated meaning complex. So our goal is to set ourselves on a trajectory of, okay, good, lots of positive response. You guys are tracking. I love it. Thank you. Our goal is to set ourselves on a trajectory of improvement, right? Constant improvement. We're going to do that by becoming aware of the stories that we tell ourselves that limit us. We're then going to change those stories deliberately and consciously, right? So, like, again, what if your story that represented a deep belief was a story of, like, people love my content. I love making content, and it brings me clients who love to work with me. I can't wait to get better at this, right? And with every piece I make, I get better. What if that was your story and your profound belief? I realize this is a little Tony Robbins here, but I mean, there's validity to this. What if your story was, I'm excited because little by little, I'm improving and iterating every day. And I know that as I do this, my reality will change for the better. You see what I'm saying? So we're becoming aware of the stories that limit us. We're actively changing those stories because we know that when we change those stories, we change the shape of what's possible for us, like the boundaries of our reality, right? And then, because our goal here, this is still marketing, because our goal is to have success, like a fabulous lifestyle through our coaching and our services and our products. We use those stories and share them publicly with honesty and integrity, and allow them to bring people into our world and allow them to help build trust, to build community, to build a sense of, like, I'm walking alongside you. So we're looking for limiting stories. We're consciously changing those limiting stories to positive stories. And then we're sharing the process with people, in addition to our vision, proof, and process content, right? Woo! Guys, how was that? First of all, have I wrapped that up for you in a way that's clear? Can you take this and use it? I'm looking for response. I'm looking for feedback. Can you guys take what I've said here and actually use it? Is it actionable? Lots of good feedback coming through. Okay, all right. I'm gonna assume then, since nobody's saying no, I'm gonna assume that this is actionable for you. And it's so funny how we get caught up looking for the strategy, the tip, the tactic, right? The hack, the funnel, the ad, the whatever. And what I'm talking about here, this is, I don't know how many martial arts fans we've got in the audience tonight, but this is the difference between learning how to punch a whole bunch and, like, mastering that, like, ancient Asian wisdom where you can just go poof and send somebody flying back. This is the internal stuff. Okay, so I've got lots of positive feedback that you guys can take this and act on it. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me here. I love going deep like this, as you know. I'm gonna say to you, let's see, Barry and anyone else who's on the call that isn't a member of the Wolf Pack, consider giving me a month to prove myself to you that I can help you. Okay? Consider joining. Reach out to me. It's so easy. Just tag me in the group. Just type Manny Wolf in the group and tag me and tell me you want to join. And give me a month and see if I can't earn your trust. Because if you join the Wolf Pack, you're gonna learn how to have a successful, thriving coaching practice in a nutshell. You're going to learn how to do that with organic marketing. Okay. And if you like the flavor of how I'm doing things here, you know what to expect. Okay, guys, thank you so much. That's it for me. I am out of here.